Hello again, it's Priscilla Batzell in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Art Studio Gallery, and that is a 14 by 14 inch canvas. This is going to be a puddle of Meeden paint that I'm going to hit really quickly. Get rid of some of the bubbles. Oh, there's a lot of bubbles in there. Well, that's just the way it goes. I'm going to put some yellow paint that I mixed with white to make a pale yellow. And then I'm going to mix some Sergeant's yellow I put orange in. And then I'm going to throw a little more Meeden in there. And then I'm going to use my straw to mix it around. That looks like a lot of paint. I may have some extra. I'm going to let that spread from side to side, and then I'm going to try and let it go over the top. Also, I like orange and yellow in my skies. I've just discovered this watching Nathalie Lederman. Let's do the top first, so then I can go back and forth. The paint that hits the edge catcher with a partial seal creates a seal, so I don't have to worry too much about paint spilling, and I give it a little bit of a squeeze and then scrape it back into the artwork. And if I want to, I grab an OXO omelet turning flip and fold spatula. Come on. I need my edge catcher to stop moving around so I can scrape it off with my spatula. I don't actually have to waste that paint at all. And then I will just use that again. It helps if my hand is right over where I expect that puddle to land. I do rock my edge catcher just a little bit to make sure I get coverage. I also use only portions of my edge catcher. Wait, there's a lot of bubbles in this one. That's weird. I might wind up swiping down below. But if I can get this to all go across, I won't be unhappy. My top looks fairly well covered. I don't want a lot of extra paint because I want to be able to flow paint on the bottom, so it takes some patience to let all this get over there. I could squeeze some more white paint in, but then I'd have the leftovers to deal with. So I like to get a puddle going and add a little angle. Give it a little squeeze before letting it flow back again, which in this case I'm happy to do because I'd like some color in this bottom area, which isn't that hard to do since I have pretty color right on my edge catcher right now. I kind of want to put a line of white. I might let that flow down a little bit before I do that. I might do that right now. It's not moving very quickly at all today. So let's do that. Let's let it flow up and then down and then over again. This time I'll let some paint flow off. Oh, there was some pretty yellow paint in there. So I'm just going to blow that into place, I guess. Give it one more torch, pull out my tweezers, because that looks like a thing. The rest of these all look like bubbles. I hope that that's what they are, because if they're bubbles, they'll pop, and I can deal with that. But if they're, oh yeah, cool. If they weren't bubbles, I was going to have some trouble. Even so, there's still some troubling bubbles. That's a little frustrating. I'm not good at waiting. The paint is not too thick. I don't know what the deal is, but there's a lot of bubbles down there in that fresher white paint. I am going to put another line of white. I have some pale blue. Which is going to look a little bit like it's surrounded above and below by clouds, which I kind of like that idea a lot. Especially if I decide to blow into it right now. Let it blow over and then down again. Makes some cool clouds. I'm going to have to blow into that with a straw because it just disappeared. Wow. Learn something every time. I kind of want some more. Blue, I mean. I'm a little scared of using that white because there's so many bubbles. I often, if I want to go this way, I'll often go this way first. So things will start to spread and meld. I'm going to use a much less extreme air pressure this time. I'm going to have to keep an eye on those bubbles. That's really strange. Very, very unusual. I don't use a lot of white anymore. I haven't for a while. Well, that wasn't a bubble. That was very satisfying, actually. I preferred they weren't objects. I can't believe that they are. Oh well. One more time. Nothing more satisfying than watching the bubbles you're looking at pop. Unless it's not being able to pop one and then finding the object that's creating the bump. Okay, so there's a pretty sky. I am going to give myself some Anita's White Metallic, yes, which is always a great base because it basically disappears. And then, that was just open a moment ago. I think white paint is stickier than other paint too. That is some Golden Hour. This is some Emerald Green from Deco Art. Americana, I think. This is some emerald green from Folk Art. This is a golden tub of paint, golden acrylic. I don't know what to call it, but it definitely didn't shake up as well as some. But that's just Floetrol in there. And I'm inclined to use it up whenever possible. This is my favorite green gold from Folk Art. Those are nice colors together. I might be really interested in putting some more golden hour back in there because it was pretty nice. I have a minty green also. Yeah, I really like the golden hour. I have some Arteza over there. Come out, plug. I have one hanging right out of the top of the bottle. That's weird. Let's just use that. And throw... Oh, there's some Chrysocolla from Color Art. And I don't know that I can do green without giving myself a little bit of permission for purple. Those are great greens. Oh, I still have some more of that sky yellow. Let's just use some of that up, shall we? Grab my edge catcher again. Not until I get a chance to let the paint flow back and forth. Let's let it go down first. As far down as I can make it go. And then take off my drippage. See, I really needed the sky not to have an excess of paint. So it wouldn't move very much when I finally got to the place where I wanted to do what I'm doing now. Take my paint off the edge catcher. Put it right down on the corner. So everything is just going to keep flowing. And new patterns are very well received. As long as the edge catcher is still working. I want a little tiny card. I want this. To use my residuals right there. I'm watching paint drip and picking it up with my finger and putting it back on the canvas. I usually put copper in these things and or the 24 karat gold, and this time I just was not that inclined. So I think if I want enough paint to be in there, I'm going to have to start again to a certain degree. And I see I have really got plenty of that golden product green. I was talking about copper, but I'm still not ready to do that yet. But I do have some Arteza phthalo green. Go back to that emerald green. Throw a little bit more of that sky yellow that I had. But I might want more of that at some point. Go in there with that Arteza golden hour. And one more tiny, yeah, I'll do it. One more tiny dollop. Now this is really meant to it was meant to have a tree, so I might not be done with it yet. I'm going to put that swipe card into the bucket so it doesn't become useless. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to cover that little spot with some of the drips from the sky. Let it flow back. I am making a mess today, obviously. Could have used a bunch of shorter edge catchers for sure. Could have used my hand not to be sticking to things too. Should have probably taken a moment. Gotta be a little careful because my hand is so sticky. That's highly unusual. I want to look at this from my way, but I want to show it to you first too. Grab another OXO omelet turning flip and fold spatula. Just use my leftovers off the edge catcher right in there because it's just a texture thing. All paint is potentially useful. I might be looking at some bubbles after this. I got 2 minutes. I kind of want to take some white cell activator. And drag it through a few places. I don't know that I can do the tree that I was planning on fast enough, but I kind of like the scape a lot. It's great. So we'll call this the end of part 1, and I'll contemplate my tree, and maybe I will wait until tomorrow to decide if I'm going to actually do that or not, so I don't mess up, because I think that's a lot of wet paint, and I have some bubbles to work at removing. I'd like that turntable to stop turning now. So I don't know if I should keep adding more cell activator or not. I kind of like the way that looks, but I kind of also like everything else about it. So if I go that way, maybe just one more section. These little tools, I often put the tool video underneath the video you're watching so you can make them yourself. They're just called acetate tools on a bamboo skewer. Pop, bubbles, pop. Yeah, no, I so love that. I'm thinking the tree is a moot point. So at the end of part 1, it's probably the end of part 1, and I'm going to torch and I'm going to zoom in. Loving my landscape, loving my sky. Thanks, Natalie. Or Nathalie. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name yet. Nathalie just moved to the West Coast. She has a brand new channel, and I can't remember the name. It has the word paint in it. Alright, so I love you guys. Thank you guys for the wonderful comments that keep my morale boosted. Thank you for the donations through PayPal that allow you to get automatically entered into the monthly drawing. You can see the prizes for the drawing if you'd like to be entered at the beginning of the exhibition video, included on the end screens of every video in the last 20 seconds. My Amazon link and many other links are on the link tree, the first blue link or the second blue link, considering that I'm going to put the video up there for the tools. My 2 books are there on the Amazon link, because I can, and Unlimited Possibilities, and lots of other things. There's like 4 lists of art supplies and set, etc. And anything you shop on Amazon at all, starting at my link, helps me a little bit eventually. I have spring clothing below the video, all over print leggings and all over print t-shirts. Anything you click on there will take you to a lot more stuff to look at. On the link tree are Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links, my website, my Facebook groups, Expressionist Art Studio Gallery Appreciation Group for students, Expressionist Art Studio Gallery Totes, and more for shoppingpixels.com and Fine Art America, also on the link tree. Expressionist Art Studio Gallery Fans and Collectors has albums of the older YouTube artworks. If you ever find that you can